The very latest on the story now. We go live to the DRC where we have our correspondent Chris Ochamringa in Kinshasa, and in Goma we are joined live via Zoom by Rui Alberto Oliveira, the Africa Programs and Operations Manager for the International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Let us start with you, Chris, for an update. What is the latest from the government on the casualties from this volcanic eruption and, of course, the damage that it has caused?
Well, Lindy, the latest is that 15 people are reported to have died after Mount Nyiragongo erupted on Saturday night. Like Joy mentioned in the report earlier, 9 of them died in an accident as they were scrambling to flee to other areas. 4 were prisoners who were trying to escape from Muzenze prison. They were shot dead, and 2 people were burnt by the lava that was flowing in Goma, on the outskirts of Goma. We have also heard that there are 170 children who were reported missing. UNICEF has set up transit centers to try and help those children who have been separated from their parents. And now, about the devastation, the damage of the area, it's quite huge, especially on the outskirts. We've heard that 17 villages have been badly affected. We have heard of a school, 3 health centers, a water pipeline, the main power line of Goma, and a very important road that leads to the north of Goma, an area known as Rutshuru, has also been cut off by the lava that flowed all that, in that area. This area is, Rutshuru is the breadbasket of Goma. It has very fertile soils, and most of the food comes from there to feed people in Goma. So it's quite a huge destruction caused by this volcano that erupted on Saturday night.
Yeah,
Lindy?
indeed, Chris. As you say, it's huge destruction, large scale of damage. What is the government saying about the process of reconstruction? But in particular, are they offering help to those that have lost everything in this tragedy? Chris, can you still hear me? Just asking about the government's response to this level of destruction and damage that's taken place. Has there been any word from the government with regards to reconstruction and assisting those that have lost everything in this tragedy? Unfortunately, it seems we've lost our correspondent, Chris Ochamringa, reporting to us there from Kinshasa. But let's now go live to Goma, where we are joined by Rui Alberto Oliveira. Of course, he is from the International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Rui, we are hearing some disturbing reports. Numbers of children are going up to 170 that are apparently still missing. Many people separated from their families, villages destroyed. What are things like on the ground today after this weekend tragedy?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Lindy. Yes, indeed. I mean, the past 48 hours have been very, very difficult for the people of Goma. Indeed, I'm just coming out from a meeting with the Red Cross components and our colleagues from the Red Cross of the DRC, and they are currently hosting 60 unaccompanied children in their facilities. But they've been requested to attend more than 300 already, and we're trying to do our best to get to those children and make sure that we're able to reunify them with their families. So that's one big worry that we currently have. Then, I mean, we also are very concerned about the ongoing risks that the volcano represents for people that are returning to areas of potential hazards. I mean, the volcano activity is still ongoing. We are facing seismic activities as well. I mean, every other hour. It is still very much on heightened alert, and we need to be ready and stand ready to support those people eventually evacuating again, and those that are able to return in safety to provide, I mean, the emergency needs that they would normally have, which consists obviously of water, food, shelter for those who lost their houses. Yes, I confirm that we now know that 12 villages have been severely affected and other 5 villages are at risk. And particularly in Po village, the houses were completely destroyed. So we have accounted 900 houses at the moment, but the number will certainly increase.
And Rui, tell us, what are the most immediate needs on the ground, and how are those such as yourself and other organizations and government agencies coordinating efforts to help the affected people?
Sure. So in terms of coordination, we are under the leadership of the government. They've created a crisis cell that comprises obviously government authorities in all different sectors, the Red Cross, the UN agencies and INGOs present here. We're putting together an assessment to determine the extent of the needs, and then hopefully we'll seek complementarity to attend all those in need. In terms of immediate needs that we've been hearing, we're especially worried, as I said, with the children, the elderly, people with reduced mobility, etc., that could be exposed or further exposed to these risks. But then in general terms, we're talking about water, safe water, because we want to prevent any public health outbreak that may come out of this disaster. We're talking about food assistance. People flew during the night, have been on the streets for 48 hours and don't have access to food. So that's an urgent need that it's obviously required. And we're talking then about the shelter part, which temporarily needs to be put in place to ensure minimum conditions for people to live in. And then we'll talk about reconstruction when the time comes, making sure that these people will be relocated in places where they are not exposed to additional risks.
Thank you so much for that. Speaking to us, that was Rui Alberto Oliveira, the Africa Programs Manager for the International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. An ongoing situation there that, of course, needs a lot of attention since that volcanic eruption on Saturday.